Come on in, welcome to my home. I am not here to tell you that you are organizing your house wrong. No, not at all. But I am here to tell you there's another idea that you might consider. Because a lot of times I hear people say, it's too hard. And while it is a valid, very valid point, that it can take a lot of time, especially if you think that you're going to do all of your organizing in one day. And I want to tell you, don't do that. Here's the problem with organizing in one day. To do that, everybody feels that they need to pull everything out. And I mean everything. They empty out drawers and closets and all that sort of stuff, and they put it all in one pile, get it all together, and then, well, they don't even really get it all together, do they? Somewhere in that time, a lot of people just give up because it is so overwhelming, or even worse, they don't even start because it is so overwhelming. And it really can be. If you look at the daunting task of trying to organize your entire house, wow, that can be incredible. So what I'm going to tell you is don't organize your entire house all at once. I'm going to talk about the system that I've been using now for a few months. And is my house completely organized right now? Oh no, not even. And is that a problem? No, it's not. Here is the cool thing about this system. What the system is I organized one drawer or one shelf a day. That's it. That's all I do. One drawer or one shelf a day. And is this going to take me a while to get my whole entire house organized? Well, yeah, it is. Is that a good thing? Yes, it is. Because when you do those big, huge organizing ideas, you might get the idea that, hey, this is going to be perfect putting this item here or that item there. And it might not. It might seem like a really good idea at the time, but it might not be that really good of an idea. If you do one drawer at a time, what I do if there's something in a drawer that I don't want to be in that drawer, on that shelf that I don't want to be on that shelf, I'll move it to where I want it to be. And that starts to make sense. Especially when you think about living with your organization as you're going along really does make the difference. I mean, did your house get messed up in one day? No. Probably not. Should your house get organized in one day? No, probably not. One of the biggest things that this also helps you do is it helps you declutter. And decluttering is one of the first things that you have to do before you even start organizing. Now, we've all seen those shows where they go out and they have, the home team stay there and they're decluttering while the other team goes out and buys storage containers which all match. And while that is a really nice theory and idea, what are they putting in those containers? Because there's still things in the house that might not stay there. So you're buying containers that might not be for anything which you're going to keep. And do you really want to take them back? No, who wants to go through that hassle? What if instead you go through and declutter first? One drawer, one shelf at a time. Will this take a lot of time? Oh, yeah, it will. Is that okay? Oh, yeah, it is. Because, like I said from the beginning, trying to get everything decluttered all at once can be such an overbearing thing. I mean, it's just wild. But I can show you what it took me to just clean off one shelf at a time. Just one. This is real time. that was it. That was all it was. Did I even try to do this so that it was more than one shelf? Nope. The stuff that I did not put back, I looked at it and I said, do I really use it? And the answer was, no, I don't. So I put it out into my donation pile, which I will take out later. And the cool part about this is, in just those few seconds, it was less than 2 minutes, I actually got something done. And I can build on that. I can then spread this out over time and I do not feel overwhelmed. On those days where I do not have that much time, I'll pick a small drawer, something which I know is going to be simple, and do that. That way I keep up with the system. And on those days where I have lots and lots of time, I'll pick something bigger and do that one. The cool part about this is it's an ongoing process. I love these people who think that organizing and decluttering their house is a one and done. It's not. It's not been one and done by a long shot. And I don't know where that whole idea came from. It's like they think that, you know, hey, I put everything in the right place now, that's where it's going to stay. Well, it is, as long as you know where it is. Now, I've seen some really cool organizational places where it looks absolutely beautiful and everything matches, and I'm like, who lives there? Really? I mean, come on. Like, I'm only going to buy lime green everything simply because it matches my pantry? No, I'm not. We have real lives and we do real things and things get messy. We do real things that, you know, need to have homes. The other thing which I've seen a lot lately is people decant stuff into jars and then you have no idea how long it takes to cook that pasta, or you have no idea how much you should be putting into a serving of something because that information was on the box. Oops. You threw away the box the minute you put it into the jar or canister. Now, there are some easy ways to take care of that, which would just be take the directions, cut them off the back, and tape them to the canister. Problem solved. And it will still look really good. The other thing is label things. Please label things. Labeling is so important. I saw a couple pictures where the organization, the picture was labeled, not the boxes that were actually in there. So that way, when you tell somebody to go to the closet and get something, it just looks like a bunch of boxes. One of the most mind-blowing ones that I've ever seen was a person who had a drawer, and when she opened up her drawer, there were boxes. And I'm like, well, that's great, but what the heck is in the boxes? And then when you opened up the boxes, sometimes there were other boxes, and everything had its own box and that sort of stuff. And I'm like, no one is going to do that. Let's be honest. I myself am a very visual person. If you want me to lose something, put it in a drawer. I need to be able to see my stuff. Are you like me? Shelves for me work better. It worked better than anything. Because what I'm finding now is I now have a lot of drawers which are empty simply because I took out the stuff which I do not use and then I didn't put it back because I can lose things in drawers, not think about them until I'm reorganizing. And the cool part about doing this drawer by drawer, shelf by shelf, like I said at the beginning, when I place something where I think it should go, that's where I think it should go. And that way when I get to that shelf, if I haven't been there yet, I know that I need to make room for it. Or if it's going to a shelf that I've already done or a drawer that I've already done, it probably already has a space there for it. I love something that works like that. Something that comes together in such a way that your brain actually manages it. So don't worry about how other people tell you should organize your space. Worry about how your space works for you and what you do. I mean, maybe like in my room right now, we're in the living room, dining room kind of area. I have a credenza that has a drawer that is absolutely empty. The top drawer of my credenza is empty simply because there's nothing that I really put in there. I have all of my medicines and things in that next drawer simply because that's where I've always put them. It's where my brain says to put them. Now, I was going to move them, but every time I did, I would always go back to that same spot. It works for me. And if it works for me, that's what I'm going to keep with. Go with what works for you, not with what people tell you you should do things because, well, they don't live there. You live there. And are you putting things where you actually use them? Because try to do that as much as you can, but some things are impossible. Like I have a lot of cookware that's out in my garage simply because, well, guess what? I don't have room for it in my kitchen. Would I like to put it in my kitchen? Oh, yes. Yes, I would. I would love to have my roaster in my kitchen so that way it could take up space. I never use my roaster but twice a year. So, that doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? But there are other little things that you are going to find throughout your house that just make sense for them to be here or there, but it does make sense. Try to group things together in a way that you think that they should be grouped together. Because I don't know, maybe you don't want all of your pens together because that's not what you do. You don't work with pens. I've found that I mainly write with a pencil, so putting my pencils and my pens together was a little bit strange because I almost never have pens around. I almost never use them. So no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to worry about what things look like at first, because a lot of people want to do the whole beautiful organized kitchen, organized pantry, closet, whatever, and they're not really thinking about what actually goes in them. Or can you even find things? Baskets are really cool if they're labeled and I don't have to dig through them. Mom and I go through this all the time where she is a stacker. She will stack things on top of each other for more room. That drives me absolutely nuts because I don't want to have to lift up 7 different items just so I can get out the one thing that I need. What I would rather see is like those little shelves that you can put in there so that I could put bowls on the top and then cups above that so I don't have to lift things up off of other things. It's easy to do, it's simple, but that works for me. She doesn't mind that at all. So would I organize her kitchen the way that I would organize mine? No, in fact I've talked about this in other videos that when I was doing all the cooking for her when she first got injured, I did have to rearrange things. Has she put them back? Oh yeah. Yeah, you better believe that. Is there a problem with that? No. Why would I self-impose my own philosophies on how things should be arranged if I'm not over there working on them? I really want to stress this. Make sure that it works for you. Start slow. Starting slow is so important. And don't worry about making it so pretty and having all the perfectly matched boxes and containers until you know what you're storing. Once you know what you're storing, then you can go with that. But what do you do with those stuff that you need to contain or store and that sort of things? You can get cardboard boxes, plastic bags, cups, whatever you need to store it temporarily until you can find that perfect item to store things in. You might actually find out also, since we're doing this really slowly, you might find out that they move, that things move into different places as you find space for them, because it's an always evolving thing. There is nothing which stays static when you are doing decluttering and organizing all the time, because your life changes. Everything changes. And as it changes, you adapt your environment for that. If you spent $300 for a whole bunch of containers, you are more likely to keep things in the place that you originally put them, even though that system doesn't work for you. That could be a problem. The other thing which I would also tell you or suggest that you might want to think about is, instead of getting a static system, a system that just has, on shelves that are built in that you can't adjust, get adjustable shelves. Get adjustable shelves so that you can move them up and down and all those wonderful things, so that way as things change and you need to adjust them, you can. You don't have to try to work within the system, which is so super hard when the constraints are put in there and you look at it and you're going, it's too hard. Be prepared for change, and being prepared for change is that whole thing. A system that would then adjust and work for you. And then just go for it. If you change your system out 30 times, you change your system out 30 times. As long as you are keeping things so that you can have them organized, you can find them quickly, and also not just finding them, but get to them and use them quickly, you'll be much, much happier. And there's no problem with this taking months to do. As long as your house is still so that you can live in it comfortably and not be overwhelmed, take the months to do it. It's okay. Nothing has to be done in one day. And that's the one thing I hope that you take away from all of this, is that as you're doing your system, you might not be organizing it wrong, you might just be organizing it too quickly and trying to make it too pretty before you actually even know what it is you're storing. Well, let me know what you think about that down in the comments. I really would like to thank my patrons who really helped me put all of these videos together, suggest ideas. You can check out Patreon if you're interested in that. It helps support this channel, and it helps us do other things, because if you are interested in me doing one of those adjustable, like, closet kind of things, let me know, because I think we're probably going to do that as the money becomes available. Also, you can look at this and share this with other people. Share it, save it, like it. Let the algorithm know that you want to see more videos like this, because the one thing which I want to help you do is find out who you are. What kind of person are you? What kind of person is your style? What is your whole mechanism to make your brain think, this is how I should arrange things? This is what works for me. Because if you don't know yourself enough, how are you going to know what works? Would you like to hear more about that? How to learn more about yourself and your style and your organizing agenda, I guess you would call it? Let me know down in the comments, but I love this, and I really want to thank all my patrons again, all the channel members for helping me make this channel what it is. If you are a patron or a channel member, you do get all of these videos early, and you also get a weekly vlog of the behind the scenes stuff. It's a whole lot of fun, but I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope I get to see you the next time you stop by.